Although, this being, you know, not the US, they should be called forests, but I digress. Thank you, Captain Obvious. God, she repeats everything. Once you beat this part once, you can skip the tutorial, which is very useful, but this game, of course, assumes that I've never played it before, which is a little bit annoying, but it can be expected. Now, why would you heal yourself if you've taken that little damage? What if I didn't want to? Look, he's taken 5 damage. That's nothing. If you use a vulnerability after you get every single time you've gotten hit, it can be really, really wasteful because you don't get many items. You have to buy them yourself most of the time. But a lot of units get them. Oh my god. Yeah, a lot of units get them when you first receive them, but oh yeah. Cavalry mounted units can move again after they've had to move for some reason, which is really, really useful. But it was taken out in the DS remake of Fire Emblem DS. I'm not sure if that was in the original game, but it probably was, because it was the first one in the series. Most of the enemies you'll be fighting in this chapter, well, in this session, are brigands, so you won't need to use your lance. They do more damage, though. I guess because they're piercing, I don't know. Okay, now we're back with Fire Emblem 7, Rekka no Ken for the Game Boy Advance. The main reason I'm doing a Game Boy Advance game is because, as you may know by watching some of my other videos, my computer's sound card doesn't support internal sound recording. So most of my other videos will just have music where the sound should be because my computer doesn't record sound, but Visual Boy Advance does. It dubs straight to AVI, so this is how you're getting the sound from the game, plus my ridiculously crappy voice. In all seriousness, I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this particular game because it's one of my favorites, and hey, I'm sort of good at it. I mean, I do suck at video games in general, but I do love them, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Which is a bit of a silly thing to say because there aren't that many single-edged swords, I think. Hooray for lag! Now, for the most part of the game, boss characters don't move, which is quite useful, but don't take it in stride. Well, don't take it for granted too much, because when they do start moving, you'll be in trouble. As I had mentioned earlier, this game is quite difficult. You're going to need to spend ages training up your characters, do a fair bit of grinding. Wait, hang on. Yeah, okay. Have to do a fair bit of grinding. But in the final area of the game does give you a fairly powerful character, but still not powerful enough to go the entire level single-handedly, so it will be very difficult. It is possible, but it will be very difficult to do it without having trained up most of your characters. So yeah, intelligent systems make fantastic games. Difficult ones, fantastic. I still remember most of the music from this game. That's how much it affected me. That's how much I played this game. It's definitely one of the games that's taken up the most hours of my life. Next to Pokemon Diamond, Deus Ex, Black and White. There's a lot of conspiracy in this game, kind of like real life medieval politics. Yeah, so now you have to go and find your grandfather, who is a noble in somewhere in this province. I don't remember whether... Oh, that's right, Canaan is a city in Lycia. Whereas right now you're in the province of Sakay. Now I remember. Lord Ludwig. I sort of remember him. I love how you don't actually make any decisions yourself. But of course, it avoids a "but thou must." If you're not aware of TV tropes, you probably don't know what that means, but you will have encountered it in other games. But thou must is what happened when, like, given a choice, but you can't really say no. It's very common in RPGs, but this one avoids it because you can't actually make any choices yourself. Sacred sword. Oh yes, I think this is where you get the Manikati. There were a lot of legendary items in this game, which is, of course, there's a lot of legendary items in Fire Emblem games. In Fire Emblem 6, in order to get the true ending, you had to find all of the legendary items. There were a lot of them. Sword of the Stone, oh no, what a cliche. It's done quite well though. It's not that bad. Of course, it's probably less cliche in Japanese culture, but oh well. Oh yeah. Yeah, so these are houses. You don't need to go in them, they just give you information. So I don't usually visit them because they only give you information. And if you've actually played this game before, the information isn't that useful, because you'll have known it already. I mean, look, you can tell that war's fucking cracked. Later on you get to villages, which are much more useful because they give you items and or units. That's the main way you get units. You get units from villages, cutscenes, or by getting other characters to talk to them. Now, some of the time you have to guess exactly which characters can talk to. This is really annoying in Fire Emblem 1, because a lot of the relationships between characters aren't that obvious. Whereas in this game, it's fairly easy to tell because characters will always talk about their relatives or friends or whatever. Whereas in Fire Emblem 1, that only happens if you go into a battle with them. In which case, they'll probably die. Now, I could go through the cracked wall, or I could just kill everyone here for more experience, but the experience from these sections don't carry on to the other stories, so it's not that much point. For the sake of making this video shorter, I'll probably just go through the wall.